Good morning, and on behalf of the Florence Branch of the NAACP, I would like to thank the members of the press and some of the members of the executive committee of the Florence Branch for being here this morning as we have this press conference. First of all, I would like to congratulate the class of 2020. We know that it's been a tough year, but soon you'll be walking across the stage and graduating. We encourage each of you to please register and vote in the upcoming primary and the general presidential election in November. If you will turn 18 by November 3rd, you are eligible to vote, and we encourage you to vote because voting is the cornerstone of our democracy. The Florence Branch of the NAACP is compelled to call this press conference to inform the public of the travesty being perpetuated on this community, but more importantly, on our children, our graduating seniors, called Graduation 2020, by the once again dereliction of duty by Florence One School Board trustees and their one employee, the superintendent, who has shamelessly politicized one of the most important milestones and events in our children's lives, that being high school graduation, to allegedly carry favor for himself and themselves because they are allowing the violation of their own policy and tradition. Clearly stated in Florence One's Trustees Policy Manual under Personnel Policy GBI, staff participation in political activities. The board prohibits campaigning in the public schools by individual candidates or parties for municipal, school board, county, state, or federal elections. No one may use or authorize the use of the public funds, property, or time to influence the outcome of an election or a ballot measure. Having 3 speakers, all of one political party, that being the Republican Party, 2 presently seeking re-election, and 1 involved in a hotly contested U.S. Senate campaign, can only be seen as a partisan politics and a clear violation of its own board policy. So, in immediate response to hundreds of citizens who have contacted the branch office and our individual members to demand that we call out the duly elected Board of Trustees, Policy BB, the legally constituted governing board of the school district is the Board of Trustees of Florence County School District 1. While the board is responsible to the South Carolina Department of Education, it is, by law and tradition, responsible to the community it serves and represents. It is, therefore, the duty of the board to carry out the will of the community in matters of public education. Therefore, via this press conference, the Florence Branch of the NAACP requests on behalf of the citizens of Florence One Schools that the highly politicized selection of speakers be apologetically abandoned and return to the format that was adopted more than 10 years ago by the board that designates the valedictorian and the salutatorian to be the speakers for their respective graduation ceremonies. We thank you in advance for your immediate attention to this very serious matter. Please, with all deliberate speed, do this because it is the right thing to do for our students. Thank you very much. I thank each and every one of you for attending, and thank you for your attendance and attention.
Let me ask a couple of questions.
Yeah, I'll take a few.
One lady emailed me and she said her NAACP is upset about, having Governor Master, Lucas, and Senator Graham speak at the high school commencement exercises. She said, so what if they don't talk politics? What if they give the kids some good advice for life, as what most graduation speakers do.
Well, you bring up a very good point, and it's the fact of the matter is they have a policy in this district that politicians cannot use public funds in the manner that they're doing it. Now, of course, there are opportunities, and I encourage folks, because I was a big political science was my major at Francis Marion. I encourage folks to get politically involved. I encourage folks to go to schools and speak in forums. If you have all sides represented, the point is not who it is that there is a policy that clearly states that this shouldn't happen in the schools. And it doesn't make any difference whether they're Republican, Independent, or Democratic. It's the law was written, and I think I sent it to you guys, so you can pull it up for yourselves.
The superintendent, I asked him about it. He said no smoking. What's your comment?
I can't speak for the superintendent. What we're talking about here today is what's in the policy, and the policy is written by the board of directors. The trustees of the school, elected trustees of the school board. They're elected to represent 9 different seats in Florence School District 1.
What are you hearing from community members? I think you said that some people had reached out to you. I mean, are people angry? How many people are you hearing from? I mean, what's the reception from the community to these plans?
People are just confused because we're in the middle of a coronavirus pandemic. And this is not the time to play politics with people. This is an election year, we understand that. But this is a pandemic, and folks are confused. They're concerned about their children graduating, how it's going to happen, and so forth. So there's a lot of confusion in our community. And the last thing we need to do is add more confusion to an already confused situation.
The governor was not up for election. This governor.
That is correct. He is a sitting officer, elected official.
I may be behind the times, but I thought Lawrence Timmons was the real speaker.
He is.
But he's not a politician.
He's not a politician. He's not running for office, and he doesn't hold office, political office. Not yet, at least.
So, sorry, I got my So, what are your thoughts on all this? I mean, obviously, you said that you're addressing the point of the board, but, what is your specific opinion about, political speakers just speaking in school?
Well, I think there's a time and a place for everything. My father was the first black to be elected to Florence County Council since Reconstruction, so I've grown up around politics all my life, and I have politics in my blood. But there is a time and a place for everything, and I don't think this particular time or place is, as I have forestated, not the time or place for this. There's a time and a place for everything.
Have you heard from any of the valedictorians or salutatorians? Because this is what so one lady said, my daughter, she looks forward to this every year.
We have heard from some of the salutatorians and valedictorians who were looking forward to speaking, and now their legs have been cut out from under them. And I graduated from high school 30-something years ago. I won't tell you how many, but over 30 years ago. And I remember how important it was being at the top of your class, and I was one of the ones at the top. I know how it feels to be at the top and to be recognized for being number one.
So you're saying that the school board is going against policies put in place. I mean, why do you feel like they're doing this, or do you feel like they're getting something from this? Is there some sort of agenda they're going after here? I mean, what do you feel like they're getting by going against their own policies?
I think we stated what we wanted to say in the press release, and if you will refer back to that, it'll tell you exactly how we feel. And I encourage you to contact some of the school board members and ask them how they feel, because they are the ones that allow this to happen. I encourage you to contact the superintendent, as you said you have, and the school board, because the school board creates the policy that we're talking about. The superintendent doesn't make policy. The school board makes the policy. Superintendent follows the policy, or he's supposed to, or he or she is supposed to follow the policy that is made by the elected officials. That's how it's supposed to work. So it's nothing new. This is nothing new. I appreciate you guys coming, and I wish you a safe and enjoyable afternoon. Thank you very much.